Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and today we are going to discuss about the case study on threading and multi-threading. The threading is where a sequence of instructions which can be implemented with a line of code on a program, which we call it as a threading. Here we have a set of students where they will be discussing about a real-time scenario on a case study of by using a threading and a multi-threading in operating systems. Briefly discussed by our students.
Multithreading is a process which is used in computer programming where a process will be executed in a sequential manner. Each process has its own flow. It will be split up into a small parts of execution that is called a thread. Each thread has its own flow, and in modern applications, the multithreading concept is used for each computer programming to enhance its flow and to maintain the parallelization of the programming.
So as we talk about the multithreading, let us consider a real-world application on how multithreading works. So when you open a web browser, it takes a time period to download all the fonts, images and text files. So in a single threading concept, each one runs after the another. It runs in a single thread. Whereas when we use a multi-thread concept, each thing runs on a separate thread. Such as downloading fonts runs in one thread, and downloading text messages runs in another thread. So it occurs in a simultaneous manner. So multi-threading will be more efficient while using a web browser. So this is one such example on how we are using multi-threading concepts in the real-world applications.
So whatever the product or concept we take, there will be both benefits and challenges. So I want to tell about the benefits and challenges of multithreading. So when we take benefits, multithreading have clear benefits like fast execution, better user experience, and CPU utilization. So when it comes to challenges, multithreading occupies a large amount of memory space, and so we face challenges like race condition and deadlock communications and etc. So once the developer is creating something, he have to carefully handle the communication and synchronizations of multithreading. So multithreading, there are many complexities, challenges in multithreading, but it used to find the performance of the countless applications and websites and large-scale servers too.
So let's take a programming example of threading. So as we know that there are two types of threading, single and multi-threading. So let's take an example of banking system. So banking system is where one used to deposit and another used to withdraw. So with this system, if you are implementing using single threading and multi-threading, what is going to happen? So at first, if you use the single threading, so at first one operation occurs and then the next operation does. After a process it occurs, and where we need to wait for a response time. So let's consider with the multi-threading. So multi-threading is where both the withdrawing and depositing will occur at the same time. So let's have a question here. So what if there is a thread synchronization misses out? So because when we have a person who deposits and also withdraws at the same time, and there will be a faults in a thread synchronization. That is because there will be an error in the system. So wherever there is a possibility of multi-threading, we need to implement for such that response time will be higher. So consider if a person when there is a depositing of 5 tasks in a single time, so that is everything is only deposit. So we can have a multi-threading. So likewise, if we have a continuous withdrawing task, then we have a clear multi-threading. So if there is a mix match of these one, will occur thread synchronization. So that's where the locks and semaphores are here. So using this one, the consistency of the system is always be maintained. So this is where the banking system will be used to.
So to conclude, we discussed various perspectives on the topic threading and multi-threading. While some talked about threading, others came forward of important points about multi-threading. As the real-world scenario discussed by Sophia and the benefits discussed by Samyukta made us understand the topic in a more deep way. So overall, this discussion was is worth of our time and made us understand the concept of threading and multi-threading in a real-world perspective and in a very deep way. Thank you.
I hope you're clear with this concept, how your case study has been taken in a real-time example of where threading has been implemented. Thank you one and all.